Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning. Good morning.
I guess the hey thing is starting to like really catch on. They're like, hey, you're that hey guy. I'm like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the S guy. I know it's so interesting what you run into when you talk to people and they see you and they're like, oh, I've been following you for a while. I'm like, awesome. Just like, can you make a comment? Like, let me know that you're here because I want to acknowledge for all of those of you that are listening right now and just listening and not commenting. I just want to honor you and say thank you for listening in because I know you're watching. So it's an amazing thing when you run into people like you're reading for the first time and they're like, hey, I've seen you on Facebook or yeah, I think it's so cool. Heather, so what's showing up for you today?
Well, I have some exciting news. And I'm going to post this later today on LinkedIn, which is a weird thing to do because, well, it just I'll share it and then you'll understand. So I won an award. I won the Empowered Women Award through the International Association for Top Professionals. Thank you. Actually, you know what? If you don't mind,
Yeah.
I uh I have uh I have the
What a
actual award.
trophy.
Like, look at this. It's actually beautiful. So I'm going to Vegas on the 9th and 10th for the award ceremony, but they send the award ahead of time. So this is like a little sneak peek of it. But check
Oh
this out.
wow. Wow. It's like
Isn't
an
that
Emmy or
gorgeous?
something. That's
I
so
know, right?
awesome.
Like I've won an Emmy or yeah, no, so empowered women and the press release went out, so I'll share that out. But it's a really great organization, and they really celebrate all professionals and are in both the U.S. and Canada. So it's really neat to go to their award ceremony, and I think that's another tip that I'll share is who are you surrounding yourself with,
Mm.
and what's the mindset of those people, because I'll tell you, when you go to an award ceremony and you're one of the winners, you take on the persona of I'm winning in life, and that's a pretty good way to approach things, right, John?
Yeah, no, I love it. And Felicia's saying congratulations, way to go, Heather.
Thanks,
I
Felicia.
think, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Felicia. That's so awesome. I'm so happy. Heather, that's amazing. And
Thank
listen,
you.
I know you closely and, I've learned a lot about you over, I don't know, this number of years. I don't even know how many years it's been now. But yeah, I know listen, I get it. The work that you put out there, the way you service others, it's a beautiful thing. So congratulations. You definitely deserve the award. And Janice is saying congratulations as
Janice.
well. So yeah, so it's an amazing. So congratulations. I'm lost for words. I don't even know what to say. But I think you touched on something incredibly important, right? And it's one thing that's actually funny enough. It's popped up for me today, and it's popped up for me over this past weekend, and it showed up a few times last week, and it's been in and around proximity, right?
Hmm.
Like who are you surrounding yourself with? And proximity doesn't necessarily mean being besties with the person. Proximity is watching how the other person behaves.
Mm.
Both you and I know that actually showed up for me this morning. I was like, it's not even so much being in full conversation with the person; it's more observing how they behave when nobody's watching.
Hmm.
Oh, and that's even a question for everybody here that's listening in. How are you behaving when nobody's watching?
I love that, John.
All
I
right.
love the proximity thing because, oftentimes I'm in rooms with people that I'm like, wow, like they've achieved so much. But when I ask them their origin questions, like, how did you start? What was the stories that are there are unbelievable. And everyone starts somewhere. Everyone has day one. Day one of their success started somewhere in their past. And, you know, when you go back to day one for people's success stories, you can really feel connected. So if you're
Mm,
ever sitting in a room with someone like, wow, I wish I could be just like them, you can be in your own way, be like them, because you just have to decide that it's your day one today.
yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. And it's one of the things I do too, right? The origin story. So anybody who's, an entrepreneur or, got into a role inside of an organization as a leader, the one thing I've always asked, and I think you do this too, is, what led you here? What was that one thing? And what I heard you say, or one thing that showed up for me as you were saying it, was they made a decision,
Mm.
right? And how many of us just we sit on and don't decide to decide? And we sit there and it's like, someday. Well, the thing is, someday's not on the calendar. I've never seen someday on the
No,
calendar. Have you?
no.
Someday I'll do that. Or when I reach a certain milestone or I get to a certain place, I'll say yes, right? And the thing is, making the decision is a moment in time where you say yes to something, right? And oh man, that is like, I
Geez,
don't, I'm
John, good
like,
thing we're doing a masterclass for this on Thursday for everyone on December 1st. I think that's awesome. But John, you did something cool this weekend. You were with you were
oh
in
yeah,
close proximity to a kind of cool group. I'd call them cool. So tell us about that.
yeah, cool or woo woo, whatever you want. Like, for those of woo woo is one of those things. Yes, you might consider a little woo woo. But what I did learn, and actually I want to share that with you because I find the best way for me to learn is to share what I know with other people. So I want to have everybody, whoever's listening in right now, I want to invite you to do something a little unusual. Just put your finger, do this, and breathe through both nostrils. And let me know which nostril has a stronger air path. Okay, which one? Which side is more air come
Left,
out of? Your
left.
left. Okay, so what I learned this weekend, and actually this is really cool. If you want to get into a state of relaxation, it's actually really easy. But before we get there, let me just explain what's happening. So your sympathetic system, when you're breathing through your right nostril, that's your sympathetic system. That's your fight or flight response, right? That comes out of your right. On your left is your parasympathetic system. So if you are breathing stronger through your left, you're actually you're more relaxed, and your cortisol levels are lower. Hmm.
There you go,
And
John.
typically,
Hanging out with you reduces cortisone
yeah.
levels. I love that.
Yeah. And
Woo-hoo. Even
apparently
Janice says left.
Janice is saying left as well. So why this is important and what I want to share with you. So now you know, sympathetic, parasympathetic. This is like fight or flight. This is cortisol levels reduced. I'm in a relaxed state. It's all good. What'll happen?
Say it with left and right, John, because it's mirrored on the video,
Oh
right?
yeah. I'm sorry. So on might be looking like your left, my right.
Yeah.
That's
On your own
your
right. On your own
yeah,
right.
you on your own right.
Yes.
That's your sympathetic system. On your left is the parasympathetic system. So here's the thing, right? So if you are feeling stressed, if you're feeling stressed and tense, number one, see where if you're feeling stressed and really heightened, what's your fight and flight response is heightened. You are typically going to be breathing through your right nostril. So if you want to relax, all you need to do is plug your right and breathe through your left for 2 to 3 minutes. We're not going to do it here because we only have 11 minutes left. But what
Yeah,
that'll start to
but
do,
just two breaths and I was already calmer.
it'll start to lower your cortisol levels, right?
Ooh, what a
You don't
life
need to
hack,
meditate.
John.
Yeah, you don't need to meditate for 20 minutes, right? And I want to say a big thank you to Hugh. I know you watch, so I just wanted to take this information and share with the world because this is so insightful in terms of how you can lower your stress just by plugging your right nose and breathing through your
Okay.
right? So yeah, I know. Listen, I'm a student of life. I love to learn new hacks, and I'm always looking for ways to be more efficient. That's part of the reason why we're putting on this masterclass this week is to show all of you how to be more efficient with saying yes. Because when you get to yes, you're making that decision, like Heather said, to move on to something bigger, better because you're making that decision and you're tying it in because you're coming from a place that's centered and relaxed. And what ends up happening is when your cortisol levels, Heather, we both know this, right? When your cortisol levels are lowered, you're in a relaxed, calm state, you make better decisions. I don't know
Make
about
better
you, because
decisions about everything in your life, about
everything.
family, about friends, about finances, about food choices. When your cortisone levels are up high, those choices are not easy for you, but you can reduce them. You know what I love about this hack, John, is we're always talking about the power pose, but people sort of giggle when we say, like, before that meeting, go into the bathroom and do a power pose. And that advice is still like completely 100%. But sometimes it's just not feasible that you have time to do that. But the nostril breathing, you just hold your nose for 30 seconds before, as you're walking into a meeting, as you're about to go into something else, and just reduce your cortisone levels so that you're walking in there with the best possible way of dealing with it in your body. So that sounds just perfect. I love that tip. I'm using that all day today.
Yeah. I guess if you wanted to increase your fight or flight response, you plug your left.
Yeah. Oh, look at Janice. Janice has just read The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Janice, thank you for that drop, because and for anyone that hasn't read the book or listened to the TED Talk, highly, highly, highly recommend it. Shonda Rhimes, she did a whole year of saying yes and shares what that uncovered for her. And her story is fantastic. You want to talk about a woman that has everything going on. You want to know balls in the air, flying like at high speed. This is the woman that you want to look up to for that, but also understanding what it means to say yes to your kids, to a tea party, to really important stuff at the end of the day, and that we sometimes make things bigger deal. So what I took out of it was Shonda was making a bigger deal about spending time with her kids and making excuses that she might not have that time. And what she found out is when she said yes to a tea party, the kids actually lost interest in like 15 minutes. So what she thought she would have to spend hours with them, they only wanted her time for 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes was fantastic time with the kids. And I just think that's just one of, like, I don't know, 100 lessons that are in that book. So thank you for that. And John, you actually recommended that for me. So you were the catalyst for me watching that TED Talk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, it's interesting what shows up when you start to look at evidence of this, right? Like, I yeah, the yes thing, it's shown up for me in so many places in my life. And originally, I talked about the Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man, is where it started for me, and that was all those years ago. And as I got deeper into it, it was based on a real life situation, right? And like watched the movie and I referenced the movie. I have a speech called "Say Yes," right? Like I have a whole speech that I've used for speech competitions in and around saying yes, and I never knew the full story behind it. And similar to Shauna, he spent a whole year saying yes to things. Actually, there was a book talked about. Oh, sorry, I was snapping my fingers. Maybe a little off. I know I'm excited now. It's like I'm hopped up. Gunjin, good morning. He's driving from Cambridge to Mississauga. He's always a big listener. I just wanted to give him a shout out. Thank you for listening in, my friend. I love having you listen in and make us part of your drive on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. So there is a book. I can't remember the title of it right now, but I will find it.
Put it in the link
Where
afterwards.
yeah, there's a gentleman who the same thing, right? He just opened himself up to yes, anything that showed up for him, he would just say yes to. And he went from somebody, I believe he was impoverished or not well to do or anything. And the book ends up with him being on a private jet selling his company for $250 million because he followed this flow of yes. And all
Mm.
these things that he never thought were possible showed up for him because he said,
I love it. I love it. And
yeah.
John, I'm really excited this week because this is the week that we're doing the masterclass. We know that these 20-minute conversations is just not enough, and we want to teach people the protocol that we have from an NLP perspective, getting your body and mind in sync to say yes. But I also want to highlight that we're not saying yes to everything. We're saying yes to what is the important stuff and making decisions and taking action. Those are the two things that are going to drive success for you. It's making decisions, taking actions. You can read every book in the world, but if you don't implement what you've learned, don't read the books, right? This
Yeah.
is the work that's happening in these classes. On Thursday we're going to do, or December, it's Thursday, right? December 1st.
Yeah, December 1st. Yes.
December 1st, yes, this week. Oh my God, it's December already. But we want to go deeper into the work and show you how easy it can be. And then what we want to do is follow up and keep in contact, because if we go back to the start of our conversation about proximity, we know that when we're in the proximity of all of you guys, we can learn together and actually be accountable and keep each other accountable. So that masterclass is not just one-time class. It's going to be a community of people saying yes and doing really scary shit in their life, and then celebrating that. Like, imagine having a bunch of peers celebrating your successes, or helping you with the challenges that are going to come up as well, because every one of us is going to have challenges in the next week, in the next 30 days, in the next 60 days. You know, John, me and you, we're on our health kick this year, and Christmas is coming up, and I'm already like, oh my God, I want to say yes to the cookies, and I'm gonna say yes to a cookie, right? So like, I am gonna say yes to some of these things, but I'm gonna have to breathe through my left nostril before I eat the cookie, baby.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I'm actually in the process. We're planning the menu, because I think I mentioned it last week. You know, for the first time, we are hosting big family get together. I think there's like 16 people that are coming over to my place, and we're preparing the menu. And I'm like, you know, like just thinking about the menu, I'm getting stuffed and full. Like, it's crazy, right? And you're right. Like, so what does it mean that they have choices? And this is the beauty. When you decide, you say yes to you, you say yes to the things that you really want, you take ownership for you and the responsibility for you. And you know what? If you slide off the scale, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
But don't live off the scale, right? So, you know, and then I've seen this happen a lot of times, right? Even for myself. It's like, you have one bad day, it turns up into a bad weekend, into a bad week, into a bad month. Give yourself permission to slide off the scale for, you know, 2 or 3 days during the holidays, and then go back to your program, go back to your protocol that you followed to get yourself to where you want to be.
And be accountable for
Yeah, yeah.
what drove that decision. What was your environment? What was the decisions? What time of day was it? All of these are data points for when you can make really good decisions in your life and when you can make not so great decisions.
Hmm.
Or you may not have decided that that was the most important thing to do at that time. So, and be accountable for it. So if you had to get a report out to somebody for work, you know, let them know it's going to be late, ask for an extension, but don't wait till it's already due. Don't wait till that happens. And if
Yeah.
it was a commitment to a loved ones, well, make a new date, make a new play date,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know. I think there's so much to be said for that, and you know, just and you're right. Don't wait till the final hour to say it's not going to be ready. Just listen. Things have come up. Hopefully, you've built enough trust. And I know we talked about this on another episode, but hopefully, there's enough trust there, and the person understands where you're coming from, and hopefully, the person on the other side who's receiving knows that you're doing your best to be your best, right?
Exactly. John, we're
So
down to
yeah,
the 2 minutes, and I
no,
want to
I
make
know,
sure
I
that
know.
everyone knows about our master class, and they know that we're on Wednesday, 8:40, Friday, 8:40, and our master class is on Thursday at noon. And we did that purposely so you can grab a sandwich, grab your lunch, grab some of your peers at work, and do a viewing party. You know, this is a great activity that you can do for that 1 hour, and we guarantee you that there'll be a conversation that you'll want to have with the people that you asked to join afterwards as well. So, and doing say yes to things by yourself is not the answer. Doing it with other people that you know is the answer, because that's what me and John, we keep each other accountable. This is how this show started. Is we have an accountability call every Monday morning, and we just said, let's make it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays and be super accountable. So
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. It's definitely way more fun doing it with others other than doing it by yourself. And yeah, you're right. The accountability piece is there. All right. So I can't believe we're at end of time. So with that, I want to wish everybody an amazing, amazing, amazing Monday. If you're looking for the link for the webinar, it is in the comments below. So whether you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, you'll see it. You can just easily click on the registration link and you will be signed up and you'll get an email, and then we'll see
we'll see.
you on Thursday.
Awesome.
All right, everybody, have an amazing day. Talk to you
Bye,
all
everyone.
Wednesday. Ciao.